JB, really good, just all-around performance for the court. Can you just kind of sum it up?
Yeah. Just number one, very proud of the group. And DeAndre deserves a ton of credit, number one. Even more so than the numbers, the stats, the defense. It's been his leadership, his impact on our entire program. And he deserves a ton of credit. And then obviously his impact defensively for us tonight was massive. And I think that's what to be a good defensive ball club in this league, you've got to have some type of physicality, rim protection, deterrence, presence in the middle. And he provided that tonight. He was phenomenal defensively in so many ways. And even shots he didn't block, they weren't sure that if they wanted to get in there, But more than anything, he deserves that moment. He deserves, all that comes with tonight. But I'm just so proud of him. But to me, what I'm most proud of is just the leadership, the human being, the professional, and the way he's elevated our program in so many ways that will never be discussed, anywhere but in our locker room. So number one there, Poole has stayed ready. Poole was fantastic tonight, making shots, decision-making, defending, competing. He has stayed ready. See, he's been a pro the entire time. This has not been easy for him, but give him a ton of credit tonight. He was phenomenal. I could continue to go down the line from Carlo to Fears rebounding to Bryce making big shots, Sadiq, Zion, a team full, just a full team effort. Queen as well, and I think, obviously DeAndre's had a massive impact on Queen, in a number of ways on and off the floor. But just a great overall response from last night.
What were the conversations like with DeAndre? You tell this guy that hadn't played since October that, hey, you're starting tonight. How was it?
Well, I slept on it last night. I had this, after the game last night, I had and my gut was saying to make this move. I slept on it, and, when he got to the arena, I had a quick conversation with him. He was ready to go, and we made the move. There was not a lot of talk there. I've seen him. He's been playing in the death row games and the stay ready games, and obviously he has impact there. But we had a quick conversation when the team arrived today, just me and him one-on-one, and we made the move.
You've talked about just being bigger overall. Obviously, you have guys out right now, so that forces you to be a little bit creative with your lineups. But as you start getting guys back, is that something you hope to continue to try to do, where you're just maybe you got Queen and another big and Z at the third, things like that?
Well, yes, we've been leaning more big. We've made this since the Herb move. You've seen that we've tried to play bigger, right? To defend in this league, you have to play with more size. Obviously, it's just so we will continue to lean there. I think for me right now, I got to take it one game at a time. With the potential of DeJounte coming back, let's see where Trey's at. There's still a lot of moving parts here to our program. But what I will say is, I think tonight was evidence of where we need to go.
So right now, Z's in a state where he's played the most games consecutively in his career. He's been extremely efficient, but he's doing it on usage that's lower than is typical. If you look at it, from his rookie year onwards. What can you say about just how he's been playing off the ball and how that's allowed other players to get involved, and just like the thought process? Because I know there's, in the past, the conversation of like, hey, he might be a point guard, you kind of run the offense through him, but just what's been the philosophy on his usage this season?
Yeah, we're obviously, utilizing his gravity in multiple ways, but you have the emergence of other guys as well. We're trying to build a full roster that is moving, at a high rate speed. And to do that, sometimes the ball's going to be in his hands and sometimes it's not. We've seen Murph's emergence, the ball's in his hands, Queen out there, at times, the offense may run through Queen, and obviously Fear's emergence and Poole. But I think what I'm most proud about Z is, number one, he has stayed healthy, stayed ready. He's bought into this, and he's been healthy for the most part. In general, he's stayed healthy. The usage might be down a little bit, but the efficiency is up. And I think overall the goal is to be as efficient an offense as possible, as an efficient team as possible. And I think if we put too much usage or there's too much on him, would he be injured or not? I don't know. We don't have that answer. But I know right now where he stands, he's healthy, he's playing games, and he's trusting the system and the team around him. And I think he's finding his spots where he can attack. And sometimes that's early in the game, sometimes it's middle, sometimes it's late. But we'll find him throughout the game. But for our system to be successful, everybody's got to participate in that. And we do have guys that are stepping up, having the best years of their career. I mean, look at Sadiq, Trey Murphy, Queen as a rookie needs the ball in his hands to be effective out there. That's why Queen's out there in a lot of ways. I'm not playing Queen to be a spacer right now in this moment. Now, he needs to get there at times, but these are all 4 or 5 guys sometimes that you have to, trust and have the ball in their hands to be efficient. So I'm really proud of Z that he's bought into this, he's been efficient, and he's stayed ready, and he's healthy, and he's available. I mean, this is the best stretch of his career, so he deserves a lot of credit for that.
Did you know he leads the NBA in points per possession off cuts?
Didn't know that. That's a good number. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's a product of being off ball now, and he becomes more efficient, and I think Murphy got to be up there somewhere too. I mean, Murphy's probably up there as well, but appreciate that.
Overall in general, what did you think of the energy, the intensity tonight? It seemed like, there was a lot of, I guess just, like I said, intensity between these two teams. It felt like there was a lot at stake kind of tonight.
I felt it from the minute. You go down 8-0 and you make that move and you're like, I don't know. You got to trust it. But the momentum was there, the fight was there, the spirit was there. Even when they were scoring, it wasn't easy. I think they made probably 4 free throws, but it wasn't a dunk and it wasn't a layup. We felt them. We're trying to find our way offensively with that group. First time that group had been on the floor ever, right? We never scripted it. We never ran it in practice. We had to find our way. But the game felt to me high level. Like DeAndre raised the level of everybody to me. Like the insertion of DeAndre just lifted everybody's standard, competitiveness, defensive effort, and I think it sustained throughout the game. Even when Carlo came in, the level stayed there. DeAndre obviously being out there was a massive part of that. So I think you got to give him credit for that. I mean, and I think the team rallied around that. They rallied around this move, and the competitiveness was there from start to finish.
To that point, you guys trailed by 8 at halftime, but it wasn't based on a lack of intensity. You outscored them 40-26 in the third quarter. I think it was like 69-46 for the entire second half. What do you feel like worked for y'all for the dam to eventually break in your favor?
We just kept pounding. It's like you keep knocking on that rock. You just stay with it. You don't read the scoreboard. I can live with that performance whether we won or not. I can live with that. That team competed, they defended, they cared, they shared it, they were in the huddle. I can live with that. All of us, You may not always get those results, but to me, they stuck with it from start to finish. There was a spirit of competitiveness, a spirit of we're going to guard, we're going to defend. There was a pride about us. And some nights it's not going to go your way. And that's life in the NBA. But if you do that more times than not, my guess is the result's going to find you, in your favor. And I think this was an example of that this team stuck with it. There was no panic at halftime. What are we doing? They felt us. We just amped it up. We were the aggressors in the second half. Our third quarter, our fourth quarter, I think we were still down. I think in the third quarter, we were down double digits. But there was a spirit. There was a fight about us until we figured out, and we started making some shots. And to me, that's what defense does. It sustains you till you find your offense. And obviously, Poole and Carlo made big threes, and Bryce, and we made some shots there to separate. But it was all built out of competitiveness in our defense, and I think that was the evidence we saw tonight.
And you've talked about, as a general philosophy, of sharing the ball, right? You had 7 guys in double figures, 3 guys scoring over 20 points in this game. How much do you like that, as far as everybody finding their way to get in the basket?
That's really the goal of this thing, is really to try to build a system where we don't care who gets the shot. We're just finding it and we're moving it. But when you play with that spirit defensively, in my experience, most times that team's willing to sacrifice and move the ball and share the ball. It's built out of your spirit defensively that when you cover for one another, to me, they felt like one unit out there tonight on both ends of the floor. And the goal is to share it, move it. We don't care who gets the shot. We just want the right shot. And even when we were down, I thought we were still getting the right shots, you know. So in general, I felt that was a team playing together as a five-man unit.
JB, do you feel like they took that loss last night personally to what? That's what fueled them tonight. You're talking about all this energy and everything. And I know DeAndre was out there, but do you feel like last night's loss, like the disappointment of it?
Well, I think that's a great question for them. I'll speak for myself. I was disappointed last night. I was disappointed. You know, I left the arena very disappointed in our effort and our focus last night. That it felt like just another loss to me, and that's unacceptable. This is our job, and we came back today with a spirit of pride, and part of it was making these moves of putting people out there that, you know, cared enough on each possession to go do this. And, you know, I took it personal last night because I've seen us making strides. You know, I think over the last 10 games, this team is moving in the right direction. We had a slip up last night. You got to correct that. And we nipped it last night. We moved forward. If it happens again, you know, we deal with it and we move on. You know, so, but I thought it was a great response to a very disappointing loss last night. Now the goal is, what do you do with this? And I think winning teams, they respond to wins better than they respond to losses in a lot of ways. You know, do you want that same feeling in the locker room tonight, or do you want to go back to what we saw last night? That's a choice. This team has a choice. And we'll see how we come out Tuesday night. But I know we're going to have a very good practice, spirited practice on Monday. You know, we'll enjoy this one tonight and tomorrow, but it's back to work Monday.
I want to quickly ask you about Jordan Poole's decision-making. I think it was 5 assists, no turnovers.
Yeah.
It seemed like his balance, right, between looking for a shot and finding teammates was as on point as we've seen all season.
I couldn't say it any better. I mean, he made mature plays, decisive plays, simple plays, right? We know he's an elite scorer that can get hot at any moment. The shot making was phenomenal. We've seen that. I think that's the edge we're looking for, is the decision making. You know, not turning the ball over, making the simple pass. Sometimes it's the home run pass too. It might lead to a dunk, or it may lead to something that's a hockey assist down the line. But he was very poised, controlled, and he deserves a lot of credit for staying professional, staying ready, and I think he was fantastic.
Coach, I know you said back to work on Monday, but as of now, early on, do you have any idea of what the starting lineup is going to look like once DeJounte gets back in?
I wish I could give you an answer. I got to digest this all too. You know, I think based on what happened tonight, obviously DeJounte could potentially come back on Tuesday. We'll see where Murphy's at, you know, where Missy's at, and we'll make some decisions. The beauty is these guys are making it tough on me tonight, which is great. That's my job, to make these tough decisions. And, you know, hopefully we're healthy and we have to make some tough calls, you know. But I couldn't give you one tonight. It's going to probably take me 2 days to figure this out. Good? Thanks, everybody. Thank you.